Glen again, aka Mr.Melanin, back with Mr. Myke Herlihy, one of the funniest men in Orlando, and we get a chance to interview him, talk to him right now. He just did an amazing show. Always funny. Funny the first time I saw this guy, man. He was really, really funny. He's still funny.
I just came back from Hartford, Connecticut, and here's the thing that I don't like about Northerners. They're Northerners, all right? Yeah. No, here's why. All I said on stage in Hartford, Connecticut, all I said was, hey, you know, we've had some cold weather down in Florida this winter. It hit 38 degrees. Some guy in the back stood up and said, fuck you, you don't know cold!
So, Mr. Herlihy, yeah, tell everybody how long you've been doing this.
I've been doing stand-up comedy since 2007. My first open mic was in 1999. I was horrible, so it took me 8 years to get back on stage.
8 years?
And then I've been doing it as my sole source of income since 2010.
Wow, so it scared you, like, when you first did it, like, total fear, I'm not doing it again.
Well, what happened is in high school and college, I was in acting in theater, and theater is great because you go on stage and you're doing someone else's lines, someone else's material. So if you do it well and you get a laugh, you're like, yeah, because I'm a great actor.
Right.
But if you don't get a laugh, then you're like, oh, this guy can't write a play to save his life. Stand-up comedy, when I tried it for the first time, that was the first time that I was putting myself out there and performing it. And the first time I went up and things didn't work out, it takes a while to separate the fact that they don't hate you, they hate what you're saying or how you're presenting it. And I did an open mic in '99. I tried 3 or 4 more times and I just wasn't feeling it, and it was enough to keep me off the stage until
I don't feel bad
2007.
now.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad now.
Man, everybody fails.
I don't feel bad. So the beautiful thing about comedy is this, right? This is what I'm finding out here because I've done music before, right? So I thought it was similar because you got to write punchlines in the music, right? And you got to do punchlines here with comedy. But what I'm finding out is it's so different because you don't have the beat.
Right.
And this is material that it's like you come up with the material, you perform the material, so you write it, you produce it. It's like you just created a whole show for yourself from nothing.
Yep.
And so to me, I think that's like the next level of past acting, because like what you just said, I didn't take anybody else's stuff. I took what I got, and I produced it. So you've been producing your own set and your own show with nobody else. Like you don't have any like ghostwriters.
Well, what happens is once you start working with comics and you're in the open mic scene, you're meeting your class, your people that you're rolling around with and everything else, and those are going to be the people that after you would do a set will come up and be like, hey man, I like that one joke, but try saying this or doing this, and they're going to tag and they're going to help you out and everything else. So in a way, you do have co-writers. They become your friends, and all that basically is those. You might come up with that tag that they give you on your own 6 months down the road by yourself after doing that joke 100, 200 times.
You got to keep going.
But man, to be in a room with a bunch of comics who all have the same mindset as you, who are all looking for that funny angle or that take, that's how you're going to move forward quicker.
I just found this out. I have 2 kids. Well, I knew I had 2 kids. Here's what that was weird. I know. Just stick with me. Here's what I just found out. I found out we're not lying to our children anymore. Like, who's got kids? Anyone? Did you know this? We're not supposed to lie to our kids? How the fuck are we gonna raise them? What the hell, you know? My friends are pissed because I'm raising my kids to believe in Santa Claus. They're like, we don't do that anymore, Mike. I'm like, why not? They're like, that's lying to your children. How can you lie to your children? I'm like, it's easy. They're young, they're stupid, they can't fact check me. I got the Wi-Fi password. They're not gonna Google me. I'm the fucking law in my house, I'll tell you that. They're like, well, what are you gonna do when you gotta tell them Santa's not real? I'm like, I'm never doing that. They're like, how are they gonna find out? I'm like, are they gonna walk downstairs one Christmas? There's no presents under the tree. They're like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I guess you were both fucking assholes this year. I guess that's what happened. Yeah.
So it's a lot about community comedy. You can link up and like, I got lucky. Ken Miller, James Yan, Carmen Valone, Genesis.
Met Carmen.
Yep.
I know Genesis.
All these great guys on the scene. I got lucky enough to start out with them. When they would see me perform, they come up and give me some advice, and you know.
You didn't even have to ask for it.
No, they'll come up and here's how it works. People will start helping you once they see you're helping yourself. The number one tip I can give you in comedy is just come on the scene and be cool and be humble. You know?
Humble yourself.
No matter what level you get to, keep the humility, you know? And it's funny you said you're from a music background. I played in bands in high school and college. And the thing I did find about music is it's a different beast when you're performing, because people are trained. Like, you can go out and play your music at a live venue and people can be talking, doing their own thing, everything else, and when the music stops, they know to turn and clap. With comedy, you gotta tell them where to clap every other line.
Man,
there's no, oh, okay, let's just clap for him now.
It's real crowd control. Like you have to like be on top of your game when you're up there, because it's like you literally have to control the atmosphere. Because once you hit the stage, it's all on you now. Like there you go, be funny.
And you never know what you're going up. Like the comic right before you could have just done some really depressing, you know, dark stuff, where some of the audience is actually now offended and everything else, and then they call your name and you're like, oh, this is what I gotta deal with? Wow. I gotta walk up and turn this crowd? You know, on the other aspect, you could walk up to some other comic just kill, and they're still rolling laughing from that guy, and they're not ready for you yet. So you gotta reset that room every time you get on stage.
Going up, like, and you know somebody was great before you, and it's like, oh man, I know they just went up, and I know they just killed, and then they probably said something like maybe similar to a joke, like I have like my kids. I always ask like, love your kids, don't answer that, right? Yeah. Do you like your kids? Scale of 1 to 10, because I have this balance to where I love my kids, but I don't like them all the time. And you have this bit where you don't like your kids.
I got two boys. I got a 7-year-old I love with my whole heart. I have a 4-year-old I don't like. Yeah. No, he's a piece of shit. If you met him, you'd be on my side. Trust me.
And I don't have to like him.
Well, and here's the reason. We have similar bits. We both have kids. That's our life. That's what we write about. Exactly. And the reason that people laugh when we talk about, hey, I love this one a bit more, or I like this one a little bit less, it's because they have kids too, and they're happy to hear the honesty that they're not the only parents who feel like that. So the reason we have similar jokes is because we have similar experiences. And the reason comedy works is because people are in that audience, and all we're really doing is saying the things that they thought they were going through alone. And some of that laughter is relief that they're not a shitty parent. Real. Yeah, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know I was allowed to say it's not that I don't love him. I just definitely like him a little bit less.
When you say it, like, to me, it's like, forget the jokes I got about it. Just listening to you, I'm like, yep, that's me. I'm not even thinking about my joke. I'm thinking like, yeah, that's me right there. Exactly what you're saying.
And you're going to get a lot of those guys. And that's why when I book a show or I pick someone to go on the road with, a lot of times I'll pick someone like my buddy Kevin White featured for me for a long time. Right. Great comic. He actually runs the room. But Kevin is about 10 years older than me. He's already had his kids. They're grown up. They're adults. Right. He's talking about other stuff. So when we go on the road, he talks about his stuff, and it doesn't step on anything close to what I'm dealing with. Another guy I bring on the road a lot, Charlie Bowie. Charlie is a frat boy.
I met Bowie too. I met him.
Funny dude, frat boy. You know, just a good drinking, a good old boy. He's not doing jokes about kids or family because that's not his part of the life. So there's nothing wrong with having similar material. But I always, when I can book a show with people, it's much easier for me not to go, okay, I don't have to worry about changing my material because the audience is fatigued from talking about that. Not saying I don't love other dads' comedy. It's just, even Ken Miller and I, a lot of times we won't work together because he does a ton of stuff about his kids. I do a ton of stuff about my kids.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it makes for a better show if there's a little something for everybody.
Mr. Herlihy, you are very well seasoned. Very well seasoned. So real quick, just to tell everybody out there, whether they're looking at comedians as, because they didn't know how to look at comedians, they just see these funny people on stage. They don't know what they go through in the background. So just tell new comedians.
Okay.
What to expect if they're gonna become a comedian.
Okay, the best advice I can give to anyone thinking about starring comedy, and I'm sure this goes into music too, if I told you right now you're never gonna make $1 doing stand-up comedy, telling jokes on stage, ask yourself, would you still do it? If your answer is yes, then guess what? You might have a shot at succeeding in this. Because you have to do this because you love it, it's your passion, not because it's going to be your living someday. Same way you play music. You play it because you have to, you want to. I don't bowl, I don't play softball, I don't have any other hobbies. I lucked out because this is what I enjoyed doing, and the fact that it turned into a career I'm very happy with. But you get so many young guys who after like day one, when do I get paid for this? Right. Well, it's a long time coming, and believe me, there's a lot of guys out there who deserve to be making a living doing it that aren't not making a living doing it. So you gotta do it because you love it, and then hopefully the money will follow. But if you're doing it just for the money, you're not gonna have the longevity to make it very far in this business. That's my opinion.
Advice of the night right there by Mr. Myke Herlihy. Tell everybody real fast where we can find you at.
Oh, sure. You can find me on my website, Myke Herlihy. That's Myke with a Y, herlihy.com. It's got a link to all my Instagram, Twitter, everything else. Also, I'm the co-host of the obligatory podcast on iTunes, Spotify with Kermit Gonzalez. So, yeah, check us out.
The podcast. Glen again, a.k.a. Mr.Melanin. Boom.